Hello everyone, welcome back to my YouTube channel. Welcome to Studies with Joy. Today we are going to start with 10th standard English portion and we are going to do the first poem of 10th standard English, that is Where the Mind is Without Fear. This poem is written by Rabindranath Tagore, who is a great poet, and also his poems are very famous. And this poem is one of the famous poems of Rabindranath Tagore that we are going to learn today. I will explain you full this poem in detail, and I hope that you find this poem interesting and also this video. I am gonna give you the appreciation of this poem also, along with the warming up and English workshop questions answers. So stay tuned for those also, and watch this video till the end. And if you're new on my channel, then please subscribe my channel and also press the bell icon button so that you will get the first notification when we upload a new video. Now let's start with our today's topic. Let's start with our poem, but before starting with the poem, let's first discuss the warming up questions. As I told you that I am also going to give you the answers for these questions. So let's discuss them and let's get a little bit warmed up for the poem so that we can understand this beautiful poem. So first question of warming up is, pair with your partner and match the terms with their given meanings. So this is the match the following table of this question, and the answer I am going to tell you now. First one is humanism. Now humanism answer will be a rationalistic outlook towards humans rather than a divine or supernatural one. That is E1. So first one answer is E. Second one answer is C, because patriotism relates to that state or quality of being patriotic is patriotism. So second one answer is C. Third one is internationalism. Answer is D. That is state or process of being international. Fourth one liberalism. Answer is B. Holding liberal views. Fifth one environmentalism. Answer is A. Concern about an action aimed at protecting the environment. So these were the answers for the question number 1 of warming up. So these are words that you would be hearing around you, that we should be patriotic, yeah, liberties, principle of constitution. So these are words you hear around you, but you don't know the appropriate meaning. So for that only, this table is very uh, useful, that you can know the direct meaning of these words which you need to know, because these words you use very often. Now let's see the question number 2, that is types of poem in English. Poems in English are of different types. There are many types of poems in English. Okay, so like in other language also there are many types of poems. Like in Marathi there are abhang, kavita, there are different parts. So like that way only in English there are some different types of poems. Here first one is sonnet, second one is limerick, third one is ballad, fourth one is elegy, fifth one is free verse, sixth one is epic, seventh one is lyric, eighth one is humorous, the ninth one is idyll. Okay, so these are the poems or types of poems in English. Now you will be not knowing about these types, means this will be new for you, that what are these names. You will be thinking like this, I know some of these, some will be thinking like this. So I will tell you the meaning of these all words, and there is also a question based on this. So let's discuss both together, and you will directly understand what is the meaning of these. This question, the question is in the warming up section, that taking the help of a dictionary or internet, guess and write the type of poem against this its description. So these all questions which are given here are the description for the poems that we, or types of poems that we now saw. So I will tell you which one is which, so that you will understand also what that type of poem means. First one is a long story poem, often mythical. Answer is epic. So you know that myths are related to epic. So myth stories we can say, these are all epics. So the type epic comes in. A long story poem, often mythical, is epic. A short story poem with a message. Answer is ballad. Third one is a poem of 14 lines. We call it as sonnet. Sonnet is a poem with 14 lines. Then fourth one, a song like poem. It is lyric because it is song like. That's why it is lyric, because it is little bit lyrical. You like the songs? Most of the children nowadays like songs only. A poem with no uniformity of rhyme, rhythm, etc. Fifth one, it is answer is free verse, because there is no rhyming schemes, nothing rhyming words, pairs of rhyming words. There is no rhyming scheme and no rhyming pair words. Then it is called as free verse. Then next one is sixth one, a poem set in picturesque rustic background. Answer is idyll. Idyll. Seventh one, a sad poem lamenting the death of a loved one. Answer is elegy. So elegy is a poem in which we are the poet is showing the emotion of regarding the death of a loved one. Next one is a 5-line short funny poem with a rhyme scheme AABBA. Answer is limerick. So limerick is a 5-line short poem. And ninth one is a poem written just to create humor. Humor means not reality, but it's just a humor. It's humorous. Answer is humorous. So these are the different types and their descriptions also. So now let's go forward toward the poem. But before going towards the poem, let's see about something about Rabindranath Tagore, the poet of this poem. Rabindranath Tagore, who lived from 1861 till 1941, was the author of Gitanjali and his profoundly sensitive, fresh, and beautiful verse. He became the first non European to win the Nobel Prize in Literature in 1913. Means there were no non European people who got Nobel Prize for Literature before 1913, and he was the first who got it, who was also a non European. All others who got the Nobel Prize were non Europe were not uh, were European. So it is a very pride that Rabindranath Tagore is a Indian poet and he got the Nobel Prize in literature. This poem is one of his vastly read and discussed poems. So this poem is very much read by people and it is also discussed, because I only told you in the first only that this poem is very famous. It was originally composed in Bengali and later he himself translated it into English. So as you all know that Rabindranath Tagore is a Bengali, so he composed this poem was composed originally in Bengali and then he only translated it into English. This poem is from his Nobel Prize winning anthology. So Gitanjali is the anthology that he has wrote, and it has because of that anthology only he got the Nobel Prize, and this poem is taken from Gitanjali. Tagore lived during the time when India was ruled by the British. In this poem, besides political freedom from British, Tagore also appeals to God for social, educational, and economic freedom for the people of India. So, this poem is written when Tagore lived during the time when India was ruled by British. So, at that time when India was ruled by British, this poem is written at that time. So, at that time, what were the thoughts inside Rabindranath Tagore's mind are expressed through this poem. And in this poem, he is requesting God for not only the freedom but also for social, educational, and economic freedom for the people of India. He is asking for freedom for the people of India, not only politically but also he asking for freedom socially, educationally, and economically for the people of India. And this poem central idea I will tell you in two lines so that you get a small idea of what we are going to learn in this poem. So this poem is written in the pre-independence era. The poem is a link between what India is and what the poet wishes it to be. Through the prayer poem, that is this prayer is sorry this poem is a prayer, and Tagore indirectly hints at the challenges faced by India under the British rule. He wants his motherland to be a heaven of freedom. He wants Indians to enjoy freedom not just from the shackles of a foreign rule, but religious, moral, social, and intellectual too. He invokes God to guide his country and let it awake from the deep slumber of all that hampers its progress to all that is progressive and positive. Okay, so this was about the poem that I told you in few lines only. Now let's start with the poem. First line of the poem is, where the mind is without fear and the head is held high. So the poet is describing a ideal country that he imagines. Means it is expected by the poet that God will make his India such a country where the mind of people is without fear, it is fearless, and the head is held high with respect, with full of self esteem. Okay, so he is saying, means the poet is expecting, or it is telling about the an ideal country that the Rabindranath Tagore poet wishes to the god that his country should be like this. So this is not the truth actually. So this is the just the what we can say imagination of Rabindranath Tagore that his country should be like this, but actually today it is not like this. That question is there in the workshop that we will discuss later. Now let's understand the lines. Second line is, where knowledge is free. Means Rabindranath Tagore is saying that he wants India to be a country where knowledge is free flowing and not just the sole prerogative of a few fortunate ones. It should not be limited for only rich people or upper class people knowledge. It should be free for all. At the time when this poem was written by him, at that time only knowledge was given to men and of men of upper class. So that's why he's mentioning this, that he wants that his country should be a place where knowledge is free, where the world has not been broken up into fragments by narrow domestic walls. He is saying that, or he envisions a united India that is not divided on the basis of caste, creed, religion, etc. Okay, so he is expecting like that, that a united India is will be there in the future, where people are not discriminated on the basis of religion, caste, creed. But this is just expectation, because still today people are discriminated on the basis of caste, religion, and creed, where words come out from the depth of truth. So he wishes to his beloved countrymen to be free from all prejudices and superstitious beliefs, because narrow domestic walls means superstitious beliefs or old customs, harmful customs, and traditions. And the poet also wants his countrymen to be sincere and truthful. Means he wants that his country should be a place where people are not lying, people are not cheaters, they are all sincere and truthful, where tireless striving stretches its arms towards perfection. So the poet is saying or appealing to God that there in my country, or his countrymen, to be sincere and truthful not only, but He also visualizes India as an epitome of perfection, which is the fruit of continuous efforts and hard work of his fellow brethren. What I mean from this sentence? I mean that he envisions that India is a country of hard work. Here, each and every person is hard working for the not only for his particular goal, but also the goal of whole India. He is envisioning that India will be a country where all people are very much hardworking for their country also. Okay, and they are aiming towards the perfection where the clear stream of reason has not lost its way. So, where the clear stream of reason has not lost its way, what does it mean? It means that he does not want reason to get lost in outdated customs and blind superstitions. Okay, so this sentence I hope that you understood. Into the dreary desert and sand of dead habit. So, into the dreary desert sand of dead habit, what I mean from this sentence? It means it is telling us about the superstitions, old customs, old uh, traditions which are harmful to our nation, like not allowing girls to be educated or child marriage, child labor. These all superstitions and old customs and traditions and old beliefs, like she will do like this or this will happen like this. These all things, all old traditional rituals and customs are nothing but very dead habits, we can say. And there is a huge dreary desert of dead habits in India, because in India people are very superstitious, and that's why here it is written that into the dreary desert sand of dead habit, means there is a dreary desert of dead habits, means there is a huge desert of dead superstitions, harmful customs and traditions in India. So there should be a country where there is nothing like this. He is saying that India should become a country where there are no superstitions people, and there are no old customs like this which are harmful to the people, where the mind is led forward by Thi. Now, here Thi is God. He is appealing to God to lead his country. Okay? He is appealing to God to lead his country into ever widening thought and action into that heaven of freedom, my Father. My Father means the God. He is indicating God. Let my country awake. So he appeals to God to lead his country into that heaven where individuals experience freedom in the truest sense, where progressive thoughts translate into actions. He prays to the Almighty to let his country wake up to such an ideal abode of freedom. Okay, and this was the explanation for this poem. I hope that you understood that the message given by the poet. Here, the poet is expressing his thoughts at that time. What was his thoughts according to the situation? He's expressing those thoughts and creating a vision in his mind of an ideal country that India would be according to him, according to his imagination. But really, in reality, India is not like this. India has become developed in these many years after independence, but still it has not become the India of the dreams of Rabindranath Tagore. And this was not only the dream of Rabindranath Tagore, according to me. It was dream of many social leaders who all sacrificed their lives for us, for our country. Okay, so we all should try to make our country a suitable place or an ideal country according to the expectations or imaginations of the Rabindranath Tagore or all other social leaders. Now let's go forward towards the English workshop. Before going to English workshop, there are some questions in your textbook given at the side of the poem. I will answer those questions. First is, what does the poet pray to the Almighty for? So here the answer for this is that the poet prays to the Almighty to let his country wake up into a heaven where everyone enjoys freedom of mind and spirit. He also asks God to lead us forward into ever widening thought and action. Second one question is, what are reason and dead habit compared to? The answer for this question is that reason and dead habit are compared to a clear stream and dreary desert respectively. Third question, what does the poet wish for? The answer for this question is that the poet wishes God to lead his country to a heaven of freedom where his countrymen enjoy social, political, religious, and intellectual freedom. These were the questions, extra questions related to the poem given in your textbook. Now let's go forward toward the English workshop questions. First question is, in your notebook write down lines from the poem as a proof for the following. So we have to write a line from the poem as a proof for the following sentences. First one is, Tagore wishes for a nation where people are truthful. The line from the poem for this sentence will be, where words come out from the depth of truth. Second one is, the poet would like everyone to work hard to reach their goal in the long run to reach perfection. Answer, where tireless striving stretches its arms towards perfection. Third one, the poet wishes that everyone in his country holds his head high in dignity. Answer, where the mind is without fear and head is held high. Next one is, the poet dreams of a nation where knowledge should be free to all. The line which indicates this sentence is, where knowledge is free. Fifth one, the poem is a prayer. Answer is, how we get to know that the poem is a prayer? From the last line, because in the last line he is praying, directly addressing God, that into that heaven of freedom my father is meaning that God, he is indicating God. So my father, let my country awake. The last line is indicating that the poem is a prayer. Now let's look forward towards the next question. That is question number 2. Read the columns carefully and match the expressions with their meanings. First one is, the head is held high. Answer is, a person with self-respect and proud of possessing it. That is C. Second one, answer is D. Narrow domestic wall. Answer, narrow-mindedness. Third one, knowledge is free. Answer is E. Education is given to all. Fourth one, depth of truth. Answer is B. Sincerity of heart. Fifth one, mind is without fear. Answer is a fearless person. Sixth one, stretches its arms. Answer is aim at perfection. Seventh one, clear stream of reason. Answer is clear thinking. Eighth one, dead habits. Answer is F. Dried up for infertile land of sands. Ninth one, ever widening thought and action. Answer is I. Broadening the outlook and attitude. Okay, so this was the answer for question number 2 English workshop. Now let's discuss question number 3A, which is a very interesting question. Answer the following questions in your own words. So this students don't like to answer because it is said that in your own words. So they think, who will write in my own words? Let's just copy it from digest, anything. So it's written, but children write only similar answers. They don't write in own. They just copy it. But actually, these are the very interesting question of the poems, because if we answer them in own, then in the exam we will never forget the answer wrote by us only. We will obviously write the correct answer for the question, because We have not learned it from the digest, any guidebooks, but we have wrote it from our mind only, and that mind remembers it perfectly. So that's why I refer that you should write answers on your own. I don't say that referring a guidebook is bad, because you can also refer a guidebook, but mix your mind and that answer given to you, and make your own different or unique answer. Okay, I expect that from you, because even in the exams, if teacher sees all the similar answers, then it will be not good. But if you write a unique answer, little bit unique, then it will be a good score marking for you. First question is, how is the world broken into fragments? This question answer according to me, this is according to me, means my own response, that way only you will also write. So I think that the world is broken into fragments by narrow domestic walls, like differences in caste, creed, gender, color, religion, and language. So you saw that I am saying the answer according to me, and also from the poem, mixing it. I mentioned narrow domestic walls according to poem. What the next question is, how is the explain what the tireless striving should be for. So answer for this question is that tireless striving refers to the relentless and the tireless hard work that the poet expects his countrymen to put in to achieve perfection. Next one is, uh, where words come out from the depth of truth. Explain in your own words. Answer for this should be, words that come out from the depth of truth means words that are sincere and true. People should be truthful and forthright. Truthfulness should be the dominant quality of people, so that they speak words that come right from their hearts, from a pure heart. Next one, who is Thee in the poem? What does the poet appeal to Thee to do? The answer for this question is, God is referred to as Thee in the poem. He wants God to lead his country to a place where religious, social, political, and intellectual freedom is experienced in the truest sense, so that people can get back to their lost dignity and help the country to progress. E. What qualities does the poet wish to inculcate in his countrymen? Okay, so answer for this question will be, according to me, the poet wishes the following qualities to inculcate in the first one, truthfulness; second one, fearlessness; third one, self-confidence; fourth one, industriousness; fifth one, rationality; and logical thinking is sixth one. These are the qualities that the poet wants to inculcate in his countrymen. According to me, you can add such more which are suitable for this question. Okay, so this finishes question number 3a. Now let's go forward to question number 3b. Write in your notebook your own response and justify where needed. Again, here it is written that your own response, so these answers can be different, my answers and your answers. So I hope that you hear to my answers, think about them, and about the question also perfectly, and write your own answer. First one is the poem a prayer for India alone? According to me, it is not a poem, it is not a prayer for India alone. It is a universal pleas to that holds good at all times for all nations of the world. Then second one is, what should the words we speak reflect? The words we speak should reflect our truthfulness. Third one, what should people keep on widening? How can it be done? So the answer for this question, that what should people keep on widening and how can it be done, will be that people should keep on widening their thoughts. This can be done by abandoning all forms of superstitious beliefs and orthodox patterns that come in the way of logical thinking. Next one, E. What attributes of Rabindranath Tagore does, D1 we have not done. That is, from what darkness of night should our nation awake? So now here, what is this darkness of night is referring to dead habits or bad things from which our country should awake. The answer for this question will be that our country should awaken from the darkness of captivity and slavery of a foreign rule, of superstitious beliefs and discrimination of caste, creed, and religion into a heaven of freedom where everyone enjoys social, physical, and mental and intellectual freedom. Okay, next one. What attributes of Rabindranath Tagore does the poem reflect? For this, according to me, answer should be, means here this can be different qualities are attributing from the poems, but the qualities of Rabindranath Tagore that I saw which are reflected from this poem are, the poem reflects a patriotic Rabindranath Tagore. He comes across as a supporter of human rights and a staunch advocate of liberty in all its forms, political, social, mental, and intellectual. Then next one is, what effect does the repetition of the word where at the beginning of each line? So this question was very interesting one, because this question would be coming in your mind also. So the repetition of the word where at the beginning of each line achieves an artistic effect known as anaphora. It emphasizes and lends clarity to the kind of place that Tagore wishes his country to become, thereby intensifying the theme of the poem. Okay, so this was the answer for this question. Again, I am saying that I hope that you write these answer on your own only. Next question is, read the poem carefully and complete the table after the discussion in pairs. One is done for you. That is, here we have, I was saying no, that the expected situation or ideal situation and the present situation comparison will be there in the English workshop. So this is only that question. So Rabindranath Tagore expected that this will happen, that is given in the poem, and what is today's present situation, that is we have to write. So with the help of the poem and our mind, we have to complete this table. First, there are the concepts in the poem according to that. Like first one is mind. So here it is given that present situation mind is full of fear, but Rabindranath Tagore in his poem expected that the mind will be fearless. So like this only we are going to write the other one. Second one is head. As present situation is head is bowed low due to lack of self-respect and low self-esteem. Expected situation was that the head is held high. Then third one is knowledge. Present situation, knowledge is the prerogative of a few chosen ones. But the expected situation was knowledge is free for all. Fourth one, words. Present situation, shallow and superficial words. Or you can also write that unsincere and untruthful words. And expected situation was truthfulness prevails. Then habit. Fifth one is habit. Present situation was present situation is old harmful traditions and customs are practiced. Expected situation is people think logically and use reason. Concept in the poem, sixth one, thought and action. Present situation, narrow outlook. So expected situation, people are progressive and broad minded. This was the answer for this question. Question number 5a. Complete the following sentence using your own interpretation. First one is, when the mind is without fear and head unbowed, we enjoy dash freedom. According to me, answer should be complete freedom. Second one is, when knowledge is free, every citizen enjoys the right to dash and dash, learn and earn. Third one is, we can prevent dash injustice when we pull down discriminatory walls of caste, class, religion, etc. Social, answer is social. We can prevent social injustice. So I am telling the words that are appropriate for these sentences. There are such many other words also that are appropriate for these sentences. So you can also write on your own but they should be suitable for the sentence. Next one is constant effort and strive leads to achieving our goal with perfection. E. Logical thinking and reasoning can put a stop to dash. Answer harmful customs and traditions. F. Tagore appeals to God to make his country a dash. Heaven, where people have good thought and action. Next one, question number 5b, fill in the blanks. Students should keep themselves aloof from. This is also personal. You can write many things. There are, I can say two answers for this question only. That first is students should keep themselves aloof from dogmatism. Second, it can be that students should keep themselves aloof from harmful customs and traditions. Okay, so you can write according to you any one answer. And B, when dash will everyone will be literate. When education is free, everyone will be literate. C, it is a social duty of every student of modern world to uproot dash from societies narrow-mindedness. D, students must develop dash outlook and attitudes. Answer ever widening. E, in the world of sycophancy, students must dash. Okay, have self-respect is the answer. Okay, now let's go to next question. Question number 6. Find out the examples of metaphor from the poem. So I will give you some examples of metaphors from the poem. First one is we can say that where the clear stream of reason has not lost its way. This is metaphor because stream is reason is compared to a clear stream. Then metaphor is into the dreary desert sand of dead habit. Okay, there is also comparison. Then example of metaphor, these two sentences you can write. Next question is question number 7. Almost every line of the poem begins with the word where, and it expects an idealistic country and countrymen. Now work in a group of 6 students and compose your poem regarding ideal school. Begin your lines with the word where. This question is very interesting according to me. You should do on your own only. I hope that you can do it because it's very easy to do. You just have to create a poem of your own. You can take help also from your friends. But if you want, then I can give you some sentences. First two lines according to the poem that I have written. First line can be where nature offers sets classrooms for learning, where 4 walls do not define a child's world. These two lines means I have written a whole poem on my own on this question, and the poem's top heading is Ideal School. The title on Ideal School I have written. Like this is Ideal Country, the poem. So I wrote on Ideal School, and first two lines are where nature offers 6 classroom for learning, where 4 walls do not define a child's world. So like this only you can also write a poem based on any topic that you want, starting with where. Next question, final. Read the poem, write an appreciation of the poem is about 12 to 15 sentences with the help of the following points. I have given you the appreciation in the front of you. You need to include all the points given in this appreciation. I have almost covered all the points, but if any points like favorite lines and there are why do you like it, these points are not covered in this appreciation because these points are personal responses. Because favorite lines you can write on your own because everyone have different choice, and also why you like it you can write it on your own. So that points you need to add to this appreciation that I have given to you. Well, all of the points are included in this. Okay, so next question, that is question number 9 of the English workshop is, imagine that you have to deliver a speech on the occasion of Independence Day or the Republic Day in the school assembly. Prepare a speech to deliver on India of my dreams. This question I hope that you can do on your own because this question is very important, because this question can come for speech writing. So this question is very easy. You can start by the greetings in a speech. The format is to start with by greeting people, then start elaborating the your topic, whatever topic it is given. Then last you will conclude the speech. Then question number 10 is a question that read the short story written by Rabindranath Tagore, the Kabuli Wala, or the Homecoming. So these two, anyone you can read, and it is a very interesting story I have read also. So with this we complete this poem and also the English workshop and warming up section questions answers. Thanks for watching. If you liked my explanation and also these answers, and also you like this poem, if then please subscribe my channel and also like this video.